episode 3 of the Silverado Today Show. We've got another great show lined up for you today. We've got Andy McDowell, Chris Bowan, and David Walter who are going to be talking about the Fortinet, upcoming Fortinet tournament. We've got Mark Hook from our board of directors, Linda Canty, and Susan Derringer, who will be talking about Firewise, which is a very important issue and close to all of our hearts. And last but certainly not least, I had the opportunity to talk with Dee Dee Monette and Peggy Andrews about the SCCWGA. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Hi everybody, I'm really happy today to have, Chris Bowan, who's our king of membership here at Silverado, and Mr. King of the Grass, right? Is that what we're calling you,
Sure.
Dave? Dave's back with us again. But very exciting. We've got Andy McDowell with us today, and Andy is the head honcho of the Fortinet golf tournament. So I thought it would be really appropriate to get you three together and talk about some of the things that are going on with the tournament this year. So
perfect timing. We have a few things going on.
You do. In
about
fact,
2
they're
weeks.
building everything out here as we sit. So Andy, tell me, I think probably just to kick it off, very important, a little bit about your background, because this is your first year as the head honcho, and also the relationship between Fortinet, between Sport 5, between PGA, and of course good old Silverado.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for me personally. This is my first year as the executive director. I took over for a great member and mentor in Matt McAvoy. I'm a Bay Area native, and I spent 25 years in college sports marketing, most recently with the California Golden Bears. I love hearing the Go Bears chants from membership. It's great to pass my first trophy to a Cal Bear in Max Homa. It's been a whirlwind of a year, but we can't wait to get things going. And you mentioned the 4 different entities. So the tournament itself is a collaboration between the PGA Tour, and the tour handles everything inside the rope. So the competition, the scoring, where the holes are located. They talk to David routinely about how many millimeters tall the grass should be in the rough and the first cut in the green. They handle all of that stuff. And then our company, Sport 5, handles the operations of the event, the business side, the ticket sales, the sponsorship sales, building these beautiful structures, county permits, all of those kinds of things. And then Fortinet is our incredible title sponsor, coming into the 3rd year with them. And a lot of our members know and recognize Jim Overbeck, the Senior Vice President of Marketing. Right. There's no more engaged or passionate title sponsor on the PGA Tour than Jim. We love him.
That's great.
And then it doesn't happen without the relationship with Silverado and Todd and the team, and certainly membership.
Right.
And so those are the 4 entities that go into showcasing Napa and Silverado on a worldwide TV audience. We're excited. This is going to be broadcast by over 200 channels this year.
Wow.
Across the globe, and it's our 10th year here at Silverado. So
that's great.
Reason to celebrate.
So is the 200 channels, just sidebar, is that more than in the past?
I should say 200 countries.
Oh, 200 countries.
200 countries. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty consistent to at least the last 2 years.
Okay, that's great. Good. Well, thank you. I'm so happy to finally get to meet you. One thing before we get into my buddy here and what's happening with that parking situation. Tell us, there's been lots of, I think, misunderstanding regarding the profitability of the tournament itself. Yeah. And I've had some of my dear friends and colleagues suggest that, we're killing it, making a lot of money, and we're cutting other areas. So talk a little bit about that, Andy.
I really appreciate the opportunity to clarify that. One of my goals coming in this past year was to do a better job of telling our story of the economic impact of the tournament. And I think in sharing some of that, we did get a couple misunderstandings. So a couple things. One, what's most unique about professional golf compared to other sports is 100% of net proceeds go to charity.
Okay.
So, you don't see that with the Niners or the Giants or anything like that. And the economic impact we've talked about of the tournament based on a 2017 or 18 study, is $18 million of economic impact to Napa Valley.
Okay.
That's not $18 million of economic impact to Sport 5 or Fortinet. That's hotel rooms, wine tastings,
Okay.
transportation, lodging, all of those things. The community as a whole is going to see $18 million of revenue flow in during tournament week.
Okay.
We have a commitment, no matter what we make, no matter what we profit, to generate a certain amount to charity.
Right.
And so about a month ago at our media day, we were excited to pass out about $250,000 worth of charitable contributions, most of them local. Boys and Girls Clubs of Napa Valley, Elena's Voice, Thomas Keller's Restaurant Relief Fund, the Travis Air Force Base Reserves, Eat, Learn, Play. And that's really the fun part of the job, is to see the impact that we can make giving to great causes like that. And then as the tournament grows in the future, we have ambitious goals to do more for charity.
Okay.
But making the budget balance is a grind.
Yeah.
The margins on our P&L are extremely small, and there's not a great deal of money here being made yet. We hope to, but again, in the future, as we grow the bottom line profitability, that's all going to go back to charity. If I could too, I wanted to explain a little bit about Fortinet. Fortinet as a company is an incredible title sponsor, but that's what they are. They're our title sponsor. Fortinet has no financial stake in what happens on tournament ground. Okay. So they're not paying for the hospitality tents. They're not taking a cut of ticket revenue. They're not involved in picking our concessions companies. I had a great exchange with a spectator who wanted to talk concessions. I said, blame us if you have a problem. Blame Sport 5, blame me. Don't blame Fortinet. Mm-hmm. Just like if you went to the San Francisco Giants game last night and didn't like your hot dog, you wouldn't call Oracle.
Right.
Right? Oracle's just got their name on the building. The Giants run it. Similar thing here. Fortinets are great partners, but if there's issues, it comes to us.
Okay, got it. Good. Thank you. Okay. And Dave, King of the Grass, we've gotten a lot of comments and feedback and concerns, rightly so, because I don't think people fully understand. Talk to us about parking on the South Course.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think rightfully so, everyone is a little concerned. It can be alarming to see a golf car or a car on a golf course. But the conversation started after the tournament last year of how do we continue to get better. Parking at the Expo Center, busing in, it's not the greatest fan experience. So, you think about events you go to of you drive an hour to get down to the city, then you would have to get on a bus and be 20 minutes on the bus, and then you got to walk in. So the whole concept is to limit that experience. You're in control of coming and going. You're on property when you get here. You walk in through what's going to be a beautiful entrance, which is the Grove, which is an awesome setting for everything we do around here. So when we first started talking about it, obviously there's concerns about it, but we've had a year to plan for it. And we have a good plan. We don't just wing things around here, and things like this whole conversation and the process that we're going through makes all the checks that I wrote to Ohio State worth it. We can really get into the science of things.
Which you love.
Which I tend to like.
Yeah.
The science, it is what I do, So we've consulted with some of the leading researchers in the field, and we've put together a really good plan. So it's a pretty complicated plan. I'm going to try to talk through it where it makes sense, but the plan's already in place. There's been a lot of comments about the course is in the best condition it's been in, and I keep hearing positive comments, which is great, which is our goal. We want the South Course to continue to get better and better, but I keep using the analogy in my head of a structure or house, weathers the storm because of a strong foundation. Mm-hmm. So we've spent the last, year, 8 months, whatever, to build a really strong foundation for the golf course. Roots are strong, turf is healthy. All those things allow us to handle the stress of a dry down and vehicle traffic
Right.
really well. So we've started with a really strong agronomic plan. We've put more resources into the golf course leading up to this point that are beneficial for members because the conditions are continuing to improve year over year, which is great. One day they'll be the same is our goal. But as we continue on, 2 weeks ago, we actually made a plant growth regulator application to the fairways and surrounding rough in the fairway areas to actually suppress the growth. Our goal is to basically get to 90% suppression. So that means the plant is not able to grow. It doesn't kill the plant. It's not like you're spraying it with an herbicide and you seesaw growth and kill it. The plant growth regulator is preventing top growth, and it because of the growth suppression, it needs less water.
Okay.
So when we need less water, we can get drier without causing any harm. The key to being dry is if we're very dry, very firm, vehicles don't make damage.
Okay.
You know, they drive across the top, you don't have ruts, you don't have all this stuff. It also protects our infrastructure. So if a heavy vehicle goes across an irrigation head, there's a risk it can break. If the ground is firm, the head won't break, in theory.
Okay.
Things still happen, so there's some things we're going to be doing with some staking and whatnot to make sure that heads don't get run over and things like that. Because that's one of probably the bigger concerns I have. But if we achieve our firmness that we're looking for, it'll be no problem. The second step, which happened yesterday, is a wetting agent, which, like Dawn dish soap, breaks down the water molecules of water and makes water wetter. That's how it cleans, right? So we apply a wetting agent product, which we use on the regular on both golf courses at a higher rate, which actually preps the soil for dehydration. So when it's time to rehydrate, we can get the water back into the soil profile and everything comes back. So that's kind of like a little prep there. So there's been these multiple steps of, you know, we need to get the plant shut down and reach our peak suppression. We get the soil prepped with the wetting agent. That allows us to come back from it. And then after the tournament, we're going to go ahead and aerify those fairways and seed and do all our normal aerification practices to get everything back. So the 4 days after the tournament, the first 2 will be rehydrating, so running a lot of water, getting things rehydrated. The next 2 days will be aerifying, top dressing, seeding, and all those things. And, you know, basically from that point on, I anticipate 2 weeks and we'll be back to normal.
Wow. All right, so when you say 4 days after and then 2 weeks back to normal, when can we play on that course?
So the course will be reopening on Friday for a group, unfortunately. On Saturday, member play will be back on the south.
Okay, so that's like within 5 days.
With it, yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, got it. Good.
Yeah.
Woof. All
Yeah.
right. And now another question, I've just got to ask this because it's been presented to me. What if it rains?
Yeah. There's a lot of what ifs.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, does it still?
Yeah.
Do you still?
Last year it rained for the tournament. On the north, we lost 0 firmness.
Okay.
We didn't have any trouble on Monday after the tournament getting trucks out to clear the course. I honestly, unless, I don't even really want to say it, unless it rained the whole week,
Yeah.
I don't see a problem.
Okay. All right.
If we achieve our dryness, which we're now in the point of starting to dry down, every day we dial the irrigation back
Right.
a little bit more and more until we get to 0. If we achieve that dryness, I don't.
Okay.
I think we'll be able to handle a fair bit of rain if that were to happen.
Wow.
And you know what? That's what they have sod for.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All righty. So Andy, back to you. Talk for a few minutes about some of the differences this year compared to previous tournaments, and both for our members, but also for our fans as well as the players.
Sure. Let's go member first.
Okay.
So in recognition and appreciation for what we're doing on the South Course and following up to David's points, some of the new things we're doing for members this year. Number one, right behind us, you'll see the members tent is moved much closer towards the mansion, towards the center of the green. We really wanted to enhance the location of that structure, make sure that the members had a fantastic view. And then going in chronological order, on Tuesday night, it'll be the second annual Bushwood Classic, our caddy closest to the pin contest, where they hit off of that elevated mat off of the back patio across the creek down to 18 South. And what we're doing for members out there is hosting a happy hour for them. We know a lot of them on the green, on the green. Well, on the fairway side of the green. We know a lot of them organically showed up, and we want them to participate and see it and have some fun. And then immediately after the Bushwood Classic is our Tuesday night pairings party. And our concert this year will be by Charles Kelly, who's the male leading voice of Lady A. And in our new fan village area, which will have picnic tables and wine barrels as highboys and things, we're inviting all members to come down, BYOB, but exclusively use that fan village space, and kind of a way to preview that new enhancement for the members, and a great opportunity for them to enjoy a good show. And then for our Friday and Saturday night concerts this year, Friday night is Brothers Osborne with an opening act of Judah and the Lion, who I understand had a good following at Bottle Rock a few years back. And our Saturday night show is Live and Stone Temple Pilots. Right. We're inviting the members to come to our sponsor concert VIP section, and every member will get 2 free drink tokens there.
That's great.
So we're trying to do even more to acknowledge and show our appreciation for the South Course and everything else that we've done.
And that's been in the works for a long time.
It has, yeah. As you know, as David said, we started this planning last winter, last January, and the big change for the players and the spectators is the new course route.
Right.
And so we're playing 10 of the holes in a different order, and that was months of planning. That was David and myself and a couple members of our operations team standing out here in the rain, under trees in the winter, thinking about it. And the conversation really started with members hole 11. It was the most beautiful hole on the course. Right. It's not really seen on TV much late in the round, and the spectators who are there don't stay for the whole day, because once the leading group goes through, there's still an hour and a half of golf left. And so we thought about it in terms of, we literally just stood there and said, how do we make this more of a prime finishing hole? Because you think about big golf tournaments and some of the most famous golf courses in the world, Pebble Beach, phenomenal hole in 17, Augusta National, I think it's 16's a par 3. And for us, we had a par 3 back on 15, but we wanted it to be a signature hole. So it really started with there. And we just kind of worked backwards and said, well, that hole's right next to 18. The players could go to 17, and then if we make that, we'd start working backwards 16 and 15. And so I think the best part of this is the new loop, where members 8 and 9 turns into tournament 14 and 15, right, and then 10, 11 turns into 16 and 17. It's such a great, easy walk for our spectators. And as our spectators park on the South Course and come up through the new fan village, and they look at the mansion and they walk through the Grove, they're immediately immersed into back nine golf, and they can take a very easy stroll through. Because most of our spectators don't walk 4.5 to 5 miles for the whole round. And if we go play it today in a golf cart, 15 and 16 tee and 14, it's easy to get to in a golf cart. One of the spectators I talked to last year said, Andy, it kind of felt like I was walking to Calistoga to get out that far.
Well, that's true.
So it really started with there. How do we make the back nine more accessible, and how do we highlight the most beautiful hole on the course?
That's great. That's great. Would we ever do that permanently?
I love the idea personally.
Yeah.
It's certainly something to talk about. I mean, I think today officially is the first day of playing that routing. With sponsor day today, so we had a couple groups out this morning that got to play it. I think logistically we got to kind of see how it goes. Obviously we're in conversations of cart paths, so now's the time to talk about it. If we need to reroute, now's the time to really have that conversation. And after the tournament, we're going to stay this routing for a couple days. So very much encourage everyone to give it a try.
Great. And then the Scramble is Sunday for all of the members. That's going to be an opportunity to play it. That's the last day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Chris could talk to that,
Yeah.
but I know we have some really good sign-ups
Yeah.
for that. So.
Chris Bowman, the man. Okay,
Yeah.
Chris, you're on. Let's talk first and foremost, talk about that, because we've got some really cool, I'm not sure this will be out before this, but we've got the Scramble coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, so our last gasp event, so the last chance that members and really anyone has to play the course is coming up, and that's a tournament that we have for the members. We have we're working on the prize packages right now, but we have some pretty fun things that we'll be able to give out to the members. And that is a free event. So we do our best to, again, work with the tournament to provide the best experience possible for our members for that event. So we have some good prizes and also some tee prizes that we're very excited to give out. I don't want to say anything yet.
Okay,
but,
okay. It'll be a surprise.
It'll be fun.
Good.
It'll be enjoyable.
While I have you on the mic, we had a little bit of a glitch, I guess a big glitch, God bless you, and Kirby and Fortinet and PGA and everybody else with the member credentials. And talk about that, because you came up with a great workaround and a great solution, but can you just explain so our membership understand what happened maybe?
Yeah, well, firstly, it's really not the fault of Andy or his team at all.
Technology's great when it works.
Exactly, that is exactly right. So we partner with Fortinet and they partner with other companies as well. One of them is to make those credentials. The credential company launched a new program this year for those credentials.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there was an issue with getting the emails sent out so that members could receive those credentials. So we kind of had to pivot a little quickly. Fluidity is key with the tournament. So we were able to come up with the new way to do it, which is using our current system of the members website. So we will have everyone register there. Hopefully everyone has registered already. But then we will take that list, disseminate the information, and hand it off to Andy and Breland and everyone on that team to make sure that all members have their credentials.
Okay.
I think the biggest thing for members to know is that it doesn't matter who you are or when you register, we will get your credentials.
Right,
We're not trying to keep anyone out or have a deadline that stops anyone from enjoying the tournament. We will make sure that everyone has their credentials and is able to enjoy the tournament.
Good, thank you. And I know, thank you to you and Kirby, because you guys were inundated with email messages because people were concerned that there was something wrong. Why weren't they able to get to it? So you guys are the best.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you. Okay, so Andy, another concern, and this plays to the enhancements for members and for spectators as well as the players, but I have heard some disappointment in the fact that the grill's now going to be closed during the tournament. Talk about that. Why and what?
Yeah, absolutely fair question. So we talked about the enhancements of the routing for the spectators and things we're trying to do for members. It was also one of our goals to enhance the experience of our PGA Tour players. And in the last 12 to 18 months, there's been a lot of changes in the global landscape of golf, and everyone has a shared interest to do all we can to make sure that they have a fantastic experience as well.
Right.
And so we were hitting on all cylinders with some other things. We do a great job, thanks to our friends at Alpha Omega Winery, to hosting a fantastic event for the players' wives. Myrna Andrews and her committee do a great job making sure the players and their families are well taken care of. But two requests we got from players was that, one, they wanted some enhancements to the menu. Some of them have dad bods like me, but all of them like to eat clean and healthy. So with Todd and Sandy and the Silverado team, we've completely changed the menu. That's going to be very well received by the players, and they also wanted more space. They wanted more amenities. So the members lounge upstairs will just now be a players locker room area, And previously, we didn't have enough space to bring in a locker for every player.
Right.
So now they have a physio room, they have physical therapy tables, they'll have a locker for every player, and they'll have a small lounge area up there to hang out and congregate.
Okay.
That's important for them because that's the only space that's only them.
Okay.
Parents, family members, and agents aren't allowed in locker room spaces. And then we've moved the player dining area to the grill.
Okay.
And that'll be for players. They're allowed to bring their families in, their agents in. And with that space, we were able to work with Chris and Sandy and Cody and Todd and others to make sure the members were taken care of. So the members' happy hour will be moved to the Royal Oak Room every day except for Tuesday. Tuesday, Bushwood Classic Day, all that fun. The happy hour is going to be 3 o'clock, right, down on the green, immediately followed by the happy hour that us and Fortinet are hosting to watch the caddies have some fun.
Okay. So that's kind of a nice trade-off, I think. I mean, I'd rather be over there at the Royal Oak than maybe we can do that on a permanent basis, you know? I'm kidding. All right, just saying. Okay, so tell us about the field.
The field,
yeah,
yes,
Max
yes.
is coming back.
So, yeah, our two-time defending champ, Max Homa, is back. We announced him a couple weeks ago, and he was just formally announced to the Ryder Cup team.
Yes.
We have a second Ryder Cup player coming, Justin Thomas, crowd favorite. He makes his return to Silverado for the first time since 2019, and we're so excited about them too because they're two of the most popular players. They're two of the best to follow on social media, and we know some crowds will show up to watch them.
And nice, two of the
Nice
nicest guys.
When I was here as a spectator in 2019, my daughter was in 5th grade at the time, and she's a golfer. She struck up a conversation with JT at the putting green. He took his hat off, autographed it, gave it to her, and it's to this day on her mantle in the room. So we love JT.
Yeah.
For those of you who watched the Netflix series Full Swing, which was highly popular and got up to #1 on the Netflix list when it was live, we have two of those, we'll call them stars, playing. Joel Damon, who was maybe everyone's favorite character, he'll be out here returning to Silverado, and Sahith Theegala comes back.
Yes.
Southern California native. He finished top 10 here last year. He's one of the nicest guys on tour, and usually has some very vocal, in a good way, but some good vocal supporters with him.
He's really connected. He's kind of a local boy because of his connection with Zach and some of the other guys around here that we love. So
he had a really good year too.
Yeah.
I think he'll be one to follow. And then as we're recording this, we're set to make two other announcements today. Former major champion winner Webb Simpson comes back, and Kevin Kistner comes back, who 2 years ago, Kevin was ranked in the top 30, had a really strong year, battled some injuries the past year, and now he's coming back. So we hope someone like Kevin or Webb follows Ricky Fowler's path. You know, Ricky's on the Ryder Cup team. He's had a great year. He had a win or two, and he's talked multiple times about his turnaround started in Napa last September. So for some of those guys, we hope that that momentum carries over for them.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so we're kind of needing to wrap it up here, but before we do, I just have to ask, I know Fortinet's in it for a while here with their contract. I know Silverado, this is, I think, our last year on our contract. And with everything going on, what's the projection? What do you see in the future, Andy?
Yeah, good question. What I'd like to see in the future is a little bit more time on the calendar to think about beyond September 14th. But no, Fortinet signed on through 2026. They love Napa. They love Silverado specifically. They're very excited. The PGA Tour and Sport 5, we want to be here long term as well. Todd and I are working through the details now. It's just a matter of carving out a little bit of time to make sure we get the right contract. But I 100% anticipate it to happen. We will announce. By we, I say the tour will shortly announce next year's fall schedule.
Okay.
It's another thing I'd like to clarify. the tour season now is broken up into 3 different parts. There's the FedEx Cup regular season, the FedEx Cup playoff season, and the FedEx Cup fall. And when the tour 3 weeks ago maybe announced next year's schedule, it was always the intention to only announce the schedule through the playoff, because the fall schedule is usually announced at a later date. So I got a lot of questions.
Okay.
Hey, I don't see the Fortinet on the schedule. Is it still going to happen? Yes.
Okay.
The fall schedule will be announced sometime around our tournament, either tournament week or shortly after. No cause for concern on our end, because last year we didn't get the date for our tournament till a couple days after our tournament. So that's all normal. We know we're going to be here in September of 2024. I don't know that exact date yet, and we're full steam ahead.
Okay. What about 2025? All right, you don't have to answer.
I need to get through 2023.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
yeah, the tour schedule, it does change every year. Jim and the Fortinet team have not been shy in raising their hands and saying if there's an opportunity to shift or become a bigger event or something, they would be interested. There's so many complexities with the tour, and there's 42-ish events and title sponsors. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know when we'll be playing in 2025, but I certainly expect us to be playing here.
Great, great.
As long as David's still here.
The king of the grass.
He
is
makes it
still
all
here.
happen
And
with
our
Chris's help.
Chris Bowan,
Yeah.
who is so wonderful with our membership, as well as Kirby Hoffman, who's behind the camera right now, but she's a doll. Well, listen, I want to thank the 3 of you. I really do. This is so busy. This is a huge day for you, and to take this amount of time is very appreciative, and I know our members appreciate it tremendously. And I just, on behalf of our membership, I want to thank you, Chris, for everything you do. Sometimes I'm sure it's a beat your head against the wall job.
Never.
And
No, it's great.
you too for being, I'm going to call you the king of nerds now instead of the king of grass,
There we
because you are so scientific. There's real understanding in there about this stuff. And yeah. And last but not least, thank you, Andy. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Loves being here.